You are being told lies when it comes to football boots. And some of these lies are just misconceptions, while others are the results of dishonest marketing. So in this video, we're going to cover 5 of the biggest myths that you need to know about before you buy your next pair of boots. And if you want to join a great community of other footballers and stay up to date on reviews, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're also about to do a giveaway for a new pair of boots at 20,000 subscribers, and you can join that by clicking the link in the description. Now, without further ado, let's get into our first myth. Break-in time. Now, I think this is probably going to be the most controversial of all of the ones on this list. Because when it comes to break-in time, I think everyone has their own opinion of what actually works best for them. And I want to be clear that the idea of break-in time is not entirely a myth. When you first get a new pair of boots out of the box and you wear them for the first few weeks and maybe for a couple of months, some materials may start to soften up a little bit over time. You might also even get a little bit more flexion out of your sole plate. And if you're wearing a leather football boot, you are going to get a little bit of stretch towards the toe box, and the boots will slowly start to mold to your feet a little bit better as you wear them. However, the big misconception when it comes to break-in time is that an uncomfortable pair of boots is gradually going to become a comfortable one. And having tried on dozens and dozens of different pairs of boots over the past few years, I can generally conclude that that's just not true. For most players, if you try on a pair of boots at the store or when you get them delivered for the first time and you find them uncomfortable in any way, so maybe the shape just doesn't fit you that well or they're pinching your toes at the front of the boots, that pain is actually usually going to get worse the more you wear the boots. Because while materials in the upper can sometimes stretch and soften over time, the shape of your sole plate is a fixed variable. So no matter how much you wear your football boots, the silhouette of this design is not going to change. And also keep in mind, it's 2024 and there are literally hundreds of different options on the market when it comes to football boots and footwear in general. So you should never put yourself in a situation where you have to endure pain for several weeks or months just to eventually get a better fit. As I said, there's so many options to choose from. I've done multiple videos on some of the most comfortable boots that you can get on the market. So try out a variety and find a pair that actually feel good for you directly out of the box. And that really goes for all shoes, not just football boots. When you try something on for the first time, if it gives you pain or it just doesn't fit you properly, return it and try something else. Next up on our list, myth number 2, we're talking artificial grass and turf. They are not the same thing. It's very important to know the difference between artificial grass and turf because those different surfaces are going to require different footwear. Now, hard turf surfaces used to be a little bit more popular when I was growing up, and now they're starting to get phased out by artificial grass. But what hard turf is essentially, it's almost like a carpet placed over concrete. The surface itself is going to be very, very thin, and it's going to have almost no cushioning to it whatsoever. And for that reason, you don't really want to wear any kind of cleats on a hard turf surface. Instead, you want to buy turf shoes that aren't going to have any actual studs. Instead, they're just going to have a grippy, rubberized surface. Now, when it comes to artificial grass, sometimes labeled AG, this is going to be a much softer, layered surface, sometimes with those black pellets that can get into your shoes. And because of its softness, artificial grass is going to provide a much better representation of natural grass. Now, on artificial grass, a lot of players wear pretty much any boots they would normally wear, including those designated for firm ground natural grass, but personally, if you do play on AG most of the time, I would recommend getting a designated pair of AG boots. These are going to have mostly conical studs throughout, or you can just get a pair of regular or firm ground boots that have a conical pattern from the get-go. But if you only have turf shoes and you want to wear them on artificial grass, there's not really any problem with that. Just know that you're not going to have the same amount of traction as you would with AG or FG boots. And make sure if you do ever find yourself on that hard carpeted turf surface, don't wear boots or anything that has actual studs. Wear either designated turf shoes or honestly just wear flats. Next up, we're talking position-specific boots. Now, honestly, I love the idea of position-specific boots. It would be really cool if there were some boots that were much better for defenders and others that were a lot more suited for strikers. And some of the most common questions I see are like, I'm a midfielder who likes to dribble and take free kicks. What kind of boots should I get? Or I'm a defender who's left-footed and likes to play out from the back. What's going to be best for me? But the truth is, at the end of the day, all football boots are much more similar than they are different. And they only really exist to provide you with 3 main functions, and that's comfort, lockdown, and traction. There are some defenders that like wearing F50s, and there are some attackers that prefer to wear something from New Balance. But no matter how they are marketed, there is no football boot that is going to make you faster or improve your technical ability. So ignore the hype, ignore the gimmicks, and just pick something that is comfortable for you and feels right. And the next myth we're tackling is that expensive boots are always better. Football boots run the gamut when it comes to price, with more affordable options coming in around $50 and the most expensive boots coming in at $300. But despite what you may think, the quality of football boots does not increase at a linear rate along with price. In fact, some of the most disappointing boots I've ever tried on have been over $100, and a couple of them have even been over $200. And actually, I found that some $80 to $90 boots are gonna do the job for most players. But if you're looking for the most bang for your buck, I would say look around the $150 price point. Now, some of these boots are gonna be second tier takedowns, but they're gonna have the same quality and materials as their more expensive counterparts. And then beyond that price point, you might just be looking at boots with unnecessary features and add-ons. So by all means, if you want to spend a lot of money to get exactly what the pros are wearing, you can do that, but you don't have to. And with our final myth, we have to talk about brands. Does brand matter when it comes to choosing football boots? Yes, it does, but you shouldn't limit yourself to just two options. Now, I'm guilty of this myself because when I was growing up, I alternated between Nike and Adidas boots, and I pretty much ignored everything else. But these days, there are so many other options to consider, like Puma, New Balance, Mizuno, Asics, and many more. And each of these brands are gonna have their own unique models, which are gonna fit a little bit different from one another. So while Nike and Adidas do make some great football boots, it might be that your favorite football boot is made by a brand that you haven't actually tried on yet. So when it comes to finding your next pair of boots, don't be too loyal to any one brand, and also don't be afraid to try something from a slightly smaller company. And just because these guys have the biggest market share doesn't always mean that they're going to be making the best boots. And guys, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these, and also let me know if there's another lie that I didn't mention that is really prominent in the football industry. Thank you guys again for watching. Please leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.